Okay, so as promised, I've returned to record a little vlog about my last weekend, which was spent in Puerto Viejo, Costa Rica. So Puerto Viejo is along the Caribbean side of the country, and it was really beautiful. They'll tell you that there's great beaches there. If you're into surfing, you'll want to go. And then there's also some beautiful parks and animal reserves. And we left on Friday morning to go to San Jose and pick up Jolie's best friend Brandon, who came in to celebrate her birthday with her. So we picked Brandon up from the airport, and then we missed our 2 o'clock bus because Jolie and I can't seem to catch a bus. And so we ended up having to take the 4 o'clock one, which got stuck in 2 hours of traffic. So we arrived to Puerto Viejo pretty late. We were staying at this nice little Airbnb, Veronica's place. And so we went to Veronica's place, all the lights were out, she wasn't answering our calls, and we're like, great, we're gonna have to sleep outside, how annoying. But then of course she finally came and let us in, and as she's unlocking the door, she's like, oh, sorry that I didn't come sooner, I was asleep. And we're like, we tried to call you 3 hours ago. Do not act like this is a surprise landing. So then we got checked into our room and we changed and decided to go out for the night because you could just hear the music bumping on the streets, and it's like, we're in Puerto Viejo. Why would we go to bed at 10 o'clock even though we just spent 6 hours on a bus? And so we decided to go out and we had a really fun time. We had the cool little bartender, and we were just singing karaoke and meeting some ticos and just really enjoying ourselves in Puerto Viejo, so that was great. And then we woke up the next morning and Jolie and Brandon decided to go to a jaguar reserve, but I had like way too much homework to do, so I stayed home and read up a little bit for that. Then afterwards we met them. I met them in Cockles, and we went to a beach, which was a really cute beach. It had really soft sand, but had crazy waves. Like, I was so scared to go in because I cannot swim that well. So that was fun. And after that, we went back to our Airbnb, just kicked it there for a while, went out to dinner. And then we were trying to find somewhere to go out, but everybody was just kind of like not in the mood for it. And we knew we had an early morning on Sunday, so we just went to bed kind of early on Saturday. And then on Sunday, we woke up and went zip lining, and it was so much fun. Like, I sometimes I forget that I have this fear of heights until it's necessary to like be elevated somewhere. So I'm always like in line for a roller coaster. I'm like, so fun, and then I'm lining up next, or I'm buckling down my seatbelt, and I'm like, I don't want to do this, God. Why did you put me here? If you put me here, I can't die. I just get all dramatic. And so it was all fun and games. Then we're taking this bus ride, we're picking up all these other people who were all like adults. Like, we were like the youngest people going ziplining, but everyone was really cool, so we had a fun few hours doing that. And before you go off, they show you how to do it. They show you like what's gonna happen. People are gonna latch you, unlatch you, break, come on, different hand symbols you need to know. And so I was like, I got this. I'm so smart, I could do this. And so then on the first line, they're like, oh, if you want to go and like kind of ride with somebody, like, you know how baby monkeys just like latch onto their moms? Like, if you wanted to just do it that way, like, you could. And so of course I was like, I'm a little punk, I'm not trying to do this by myself for the first time. And so then I like got to go with one of the instructors, and he was really cool. And then on the second zip line, I was like, I got this, I could do this. That was que fácil, I can do this. Yo puedo hacerlo. Entonces, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go by myself. And they were like, cool. Why did I do everything wrong? They're like, if you start to spin, put your hand on there and it'll slow you down. Or if you want to brake, put your hand in back, don't put it in front. You could chop your fingers off. Well, I spun around like 3 times and then put my hand right in front of the pulley, so I almost lost these beautiful fingers. And then I landed on the, like, I keep wanting to call it a terminal. I landed on the platform. He was like, you're going with me next time. And I was like, that's a good idea, because I was so scared. And so we ended up doing all the rest of like the 13 zip lines together, but it was fine because he was just a lot of fun to be around, and he just was like spotting cool stuff for me to look at. And he's like, oh, there's a toucan, look, there's a canyon and a river. And I was just like, thank you. And if I like started to spin, he would just like catch me and set me straight. So it was a lot of fun. And I love zip lining. It's just so cool to just look down on all this nature and all these trees. And I mean, we were just hundreds of meters up, and well, in some of the places we were, and it was just such a cool experience. Like, I loved it. It was definitely worth the money, in my opinion. Part of the zip line that threw me was, they called it the Tarzan swing. So there's like these giant ropes, and they just kind of push you across this crevice, and then you just like swing back, and then you kind of slow down. It's like, you know, like a pendulum, and then you swing back, and then they like catch you, but they're literally strapped to it because it's slanted. If they weren't strapped, they would fall into the jungle. And so then I was like, oh my god, like I don't want to do this. And then the guy that I was riding every zip line with, he's like, I gotta go, babe, like I can't do this with you. And I was just like, why? And he was just like, I'll see you on the other side. I'm like crying. And so then I saw about 3 or 4 people do it, and I was like, okay, I can do this. Because this one, unlike a zip line, you literally don't do anything. Like, they do everything for you. They just catch you. Like, all you have to do is like not kick their teeth out. And so of course, like once they pushed me off the ledge, I started screaming like a maniac even though it was completely secure. It's just something about being, you know, 70 freaking meters above air that just kind of makes you, or above ground, that just makes you want to scream. So that was super fun. And it was just absolutely, absolutely beautiful that day. I got to see some poison dart frogs and some really cool birds, and it was just a super memorable experience. So then after that, Jolie, Brandon, and I went back into the port, I guess, the city, and we bought some souvenirs, and then we kind of, well, we had another lunch, and it was just a really casual day. And then we took our bus back to San Jose, where I split up with them because I needed to come back to Aradia, but they were going to hang out in San Jose for a little bit and go out for Jolie's birthday. So overall, Puerto Viejo was fun. I really like being on the Caribbean side. It's different vibes than being in the city. And then it's also funny because like weed is a huge thing. It's a huge thing on the Caribbean. So you would just be like walking around, and someone would literally just be like, "Hey, weed, marijuana, marijuana, marijuana? Would you like to buy some marijuana?" And you're just like, "Is this a joke?" Coming from the States, of course, but it's different here. So all in all, it was a super fun weekend. I enjoyed it until I had to come back Sunday and write 2 papers. Don't anyone like out there believe that study abroad doesn't have any studying in it? Because of course I only like post my beach pictures on Instagram and whatnot, but I always have homework to do. Even right now, I have a whole assignment. So don't be too jealous. All right, bye.